Yo, what's going on everybody? This is Syke here, and today I want to talk about Ripper. A lot of people recently, with the new Ripper buff, are picking up Ripper again after such a long time of being bad. The thing about Ripper is that his ability works completely different than other hunters. Now, there are two things you should know about it. The first one everyone probably already knows, and that's his foggy blades go through walls if you hit the wall. And that's great and all. And there are times that this is useful, but there are also a lot of times that people misuse this. And the main one I see is right here. The survivor goes behind a pallet, they go behind the wall of the pallet, and the Ripper goes and hits the wall so they can hit the survivor. You want to know why that's not a great idea? Because if a survivor knows that you're about to do that, they're just going to walk in front of the pallet or to the side of it, and then they're going to dodge it, and then they're going to drop the pallet in your face, and you just wasted your foggy blade. Maybe it was your half foggy blade, or maybe it was a full foggy blade. Either way, you wasted it. What I want you guys to know is that there is a better way to play Ripper in this exact same situation where survivor reaches a pallet right when you're next to them. Instead of banging the wall, you need to understand that Ripper's fog blades work completely different from other hunters. And that is that if you get stunned, as long as you start the attack, the blades will come out. Yes, that's right. You heard me right. Even if you get stunned, the foggy blades will still come out and hit the survivor. It doesn't matter what side of the pallet you're on. It doesn't matter if you're on the opposite side of the pallet. It doesn't matter if you're on the same side of the pallet. As long as you started the attack before you got stunned by the pallet, that foggy blade is coming out in whatever direction Ripper is facing. And because every single time when he gets stunned is facing the pallet, the foggy blade, as a result, always goes right into the survivor's face as they're dropping it. No matter who that survivor is, no matter how fast they drop the pallet, they are getting hit by that foggy blade. And when used right, when you know the survivor is behind that pallet, it's a guaranteed hit every single time. They would have to flywheel or use a perfume or use an owl, something like that. But that pallet by itself is not doing anything. It's a guaranteed as Ripper if you know how to do this. So some of you guys might be wondering, but Psyche, what if they don't drop the pallet? I'm just gonna miss my foggy blade then, right? It's gonna go to waste. Well, what you need to do is you need to also assume that the survivor doesn't drop the pallet. So in the case the survivor doesn't drop it, you should point your screen in the direction of where the survivor would last be or where you think they would be. So in the case that they go behind the pallet and you know they're right behind that pallet, like in the case of this batter I'm about to show you, I know he's to the right of this pallet, so in case he doesn't stun me, I'm also going to turn my screen in the direction of him so I hit him and I don't just miss my swing. In the case of this cheerleader, I know she's right behind this pallet, and so I'm already ready, pointing my foggy blade in the direction of where she would be so that I don't miss my swing. Some of you guys might be a little bit scared, like, well, what if I miss the survivor? No need to worry. Look at how big the Ripper hitbox is for the foggy blades. You see this right here? We barely clipped this perfumer. And here are some other examples of like how wide the foggy blade is. So as long as you're pointing in the general direction, as long as the survivor's close enough to you, it's pretty much a guaranteed hit. Now, I do want to talk about something else about Ripper, and that's that this is not just for pallets, guys. This works for every single stun. You heard me right. Enchantress stuns, coordinator flare guns, even when you get pushed from a little girl's page. As long as you started the attack, that foggy blade is coming out. If the survivor doesn't dodge out the way, they're getting hit by it. And this is a huge, strong, one of the strongest abilities about Ripper is that when you get close up, there is no dodging that foggy blade. No amount of stunning will save you unless you dodge to the side. And so what I want to bring up now is what it comes down to is patience. This is the other thing that I see a lot of Rippers do wrong. They are too impatient. They throw foggy blades from long range when survivors are anyway able to dodge them. Now, there is a good way of playing this, to use foggy blades ahead of time, even when the survivor is far away. But what I want to bring focus on is the best times to use foggy blades is when survivors are locked in animations. The whole reason you're able to walk through a pallet and swing, and if the survivor stuns you, then they get hit, the whole reason that works is because that survivor is stuck in a dropping animation. They cannot escape. And so that is what causes them to get hit every single time. And you can apply this to other things. You can apply this to when they're vaulting a pallet. You can apply this to when they're vaulting a window. Even the ropes on Darkwoods, you can apply this on. Any animation that locks a survivor in place, that's a foggy blade hit, as long as you're close enough. You need to look for these moments, and if you're a patient Ripper, then this is where you will succeed the most. Now, that being said, I don't want to say that it's not a good idea to throw foggy blades from far, but generally speaking, you should only do this when you are sure that a survivor is going to get so much distance that you're like, well, you know what, we may as well try. You're anyway going to get that foggy blade back and you're not going to be using it, so you may as well use it. For example, in this example right here, you will see that this cowboy could dodge my foggy blade. Now, in this case, he didn't. But let's say he did, well then, not only am I going to get my invisibility, which I anyway needed back, but also, I anyway get my foggy blade back by the time we finally catch up to him, which means that even if I missed, it's not a big deal because I may as well go for it in a situation where I know the survivor is going to have a bunch of distance and I'm not going to catch up to them in the next foggy blade that I get. You may as well use it. So there is a good time to not be patient as Ripper, but for the most part, you want to practice patience, and most of all, you want to practice this pallet tech where every single time you get stunned, it doesn't matter as long as you started the attack. So with that being said, guys, that is exactly how to play Ripper, what you're doing wrong with him, and how to fix it. Understand that every time you get stunned, as long as you start the attack, the foggy blade will still come out. Take that to your advantage because now you're going to be dominating rank with it. With that being said, guys, that is all I have to say about this topic of Ripper. If you have any other topics you'd like me to cover about other hunters or about Ripper, let me know about them down in the comments below. But regardless, guys, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like. It helps me out a lot. And subscribe if you're new around here. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining along on this video. And I'll see you guys later. Take care. This has been Psyche.